Okay,
Well,
everyone, thank you for joining me. We got Sean Harris here, King of the Universe, who's wearing a Wyoming sweatshirt.
that's right. Half of my wardrobe is Wyoming. That's the way we roll from there.
Is that where you're from, or is that just where you went to college?
Ma'am, I born and raised in Rawlins, Wyoming, and went to school in Salt Lake for a year, and then I went to school at Mesa College in Grand Junction, Colorado, and I just graduated about 5 years ago. And that's a long story, but actually,
I thought you were pulling my leg.
No, one day I graduated in like 87 or something, but one day the college called me out of the blue and said, "Are you Sean Harris?" And I was like, "Yes." And they said, "We have your diploma here." I was like, "What?" I was like, "I thought I had my diploma." And they said, "Well, we sent it to this address in Rawlins, and it came back to us the other day." And I'm like, "What?" And the postmark had 1987 on it, but it got kicked under some table or something somewhere, and they finally got it returned to sender, and they tracked me down by my girlfriend because I was on Facebook or something, and they found her and her name, and they tracked me down through her. It's just the craziest thing. And then the guy says, "Well, when would be a good time for the president of the college to call you?" And I was like, "I don't know, 2:00. And so we were on the phone for like 20 minutes. He was the nicest guy in the world. And after a while, I was like, "Well, don't you have a college to run?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, I should probably get back to work." But it was just the craziest thing. And I was like on all the news there and in the newspaper. It was nuts.
So you got your diploma like 30 years later after you were...
Yeah, exactly.
So, funny story of how we met. We met on the video where I'm shaming the poor mom who doesn't bring a gift, right?
Yep.
And I remember you telling me that you had auditioned for another role to play my dad. And I was like, "That's not even possible. Like, you don't look that much older than me." And then you told me you realized. I was like, "Oh, you might be able to play my dad." But no, you got too much of a baby face there.
I feel lucky sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I act like a 12-year-old, so that doesn't hurt, I guess. Or
Well,
it doesn't help a lot too. It doesn't help a lot. I get in trouble.
You've done like 30 videos for Dhar Mann.
Yes, I have.
What year did you start?
I started I think the November right before COVID, so 2019 November. That was my first one.
You've been there quite a while. Just
with the band and Sarah.
A year and some change after Dhar actually started.
Yeah.
يحتوي على الفول السوداني.
لا عجب أنني لا أستطيع التنفس.
تبا، علينا نقلك لمكتب التمريض حالا.
لكن لا أريد تفويت الاختبار.
لا مشكلة، الصحة دائما تأتي في المقدمة.
Yeah, it was when there was just one crew, and Rushi was the only one that was directing at the time for the most part, unless something big happened like the Thanksgiving special where I met you and Ruben was doing his thing, and I was like, "Who's this guy? I'm used to this Rushi guy. Who are you?"
Little did you know, Ruben was the one who started all the videos, huh?
Yes, he was. He was the king. He's a really good guy. I like him a lot. I like everybody there for the most part.
For the most part. Ooh, tell me more.
For the most part, except for this chick, Katherine Norland. She's really such a booger.
She's like such a Karen. Like, ew, gross.
Who hasn't heard of her? She's all over Dhar Mann videos.
let's just try to avoid her, and maybe let's not bring her up in the conversation because, you know.
Oh, hey, oh.
So, when did you start your acting career?
I was the Christ child in church when I was like 8.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or
I was.
Jesus. No pressure.
I was Jesus. Yeah. No pressure. And I just remember the only thing I really remember from it is just standing behind something on stage so nobody could see my bare feet.
You were embarrassed of your bare feet?
Well, I was, because my jerk of a sister used to tease me because I was so white. She would tease me because of my blue and white striped legs.
So are you
She
part
was
Irish?
horrible. What's that?
Are you part Irish, or where do you get your paleness from?
No, my grandmother McClure thought that she was more English, and then the other side of the family is probably English or German.
In your career that you've been acting, what has been your favorite role you've ever played?
Actually, I was in a sketch comedy group in New York that I was in for like 4 years, and we just had a fun time the whole time, and we sang a cappella, and it was just crazy nuts. And my main song was, I sang a song called The Last Cowboy Song, and it was about your underwear riding up your rear. It was about a wedgie.
Is that on videotape for somewhere where someone can blackmail you with that?
I don't think it is. It's like it was pre-digital, so it's pretty hard to come by.
Okay.
God.
Aren't you glad you didn't grow up with cell phones?
So glad.
So tell me, what is your favorite part about working at Dhar Mann Studios?
My favorite part of working at Dhar is just everybody there is so nice, and when I started with Rushi, and we were all just this huge happy family, just you'd go in and just see old friends, and very seldom did you walk in and see somebody that you didn't know or didn't like or any of those things. It was just like, hey, Sean, how you doing? It's great to see you, la la la, and it was really interesting in the last couple of years when Dhar started to get bigger. There was like a security guard, and I'm like, what is this? And why don't you know me? Don't you know who I am? And no, it was just weird when they grew a little bit, and which is great for them. But now there's so many people working there. It's like, who's this guy? Who's this guy? And so, that took some getting used to a little bit.
Yeah.
But
more days of the week, requiring more actors and more directors, and giving lots of people work.
He gives a lot of people work, and thank goodness for that. And, the environment, I think, is terrific. I just, like I said, it's all a big happy family. There are a couple of people that were, not so happy, and I get that. And, but I never felt that way at all. I was just happy to be there. I hadn't acted for like 25 years. I hadn't done anything. And Dhar was my first foray back into acting, because I was living in New York for 22 years, and I had stopped acting, and I worked in finance, and I worked at the Metropolitan Opera, but I was a professional photographer. I'm still a professional photographer, but I got away from acting, and so I just kind of jumped back in with Dhar. I auditioned, and they took me, and so it's just really nice just to go into this safe space, and if you blow a line like I want to do, it's like that's okay, and we'll just pick it up, and we just keep going, and it's given me a bit of a joy that I didn't always have when I was acting. I get very frustrated, and kick myself a lot for doing something wrong, and so this is really nice that you have this space that you can play, and you're around a lot of people who are just, there for you.
You said something really great about it being a safe space, and I think maybe I've never thought of it in that way, but I think that might be one of the things I really enjoy about it too, because I've been on some of those sets where you feel stressed out and you feel anxiety going to work, and you feel like, oh my God, I got to get this right, or the director's going to chew me out. And I've been chewed out on set just for making an acting choice that the director didn't like, and just like berating me in front of the whole cast and crew. And in those situations, it is Dhar Mann Studios is one of those safe places where you can play and you can try stuff, and they're open to suggestions, and you're like, hey, can I just do where we try it like this? They're like, usually 9 times out of 10, like, okay, let's see. Sometimes they'll be like, no, that doesn't really fit the character, but most of the time they let you play, and even if they don't like your choice, they're not, oh my God, that was terrible, what were you thinking? That was not on point, that was not on character. The directors are really like, you know what? I think it's going to fit the character better and the outcome if we play it this way. And they're just very kind to explain why they stick with their thing, and they're not like making you feel like an idiot for making a choice that's different than what they wanted.
It's so true. And I've a lot of times just gone in there to play, and I'll just be like some stupid accent, or just because most of my parts are really, really small. So I'm there for, a couple of pages, or maybe 5 pages if I'm lucky. And my character has 10 lines or 5 or 15, whatever it is. And I'm in and out so quick. They're just like, oh, what just happened? Some, Italian guy just walked, a blonde Italian guy that looks like Fish Belly White is acting in front of us. And there was this one that I just went in, and I was just trying to emulate Lurch from Addams Family. And one of the directors one day said, you carry that around a lot. It's always filled with Diet Coke. It's my Bubba. And he says, you carry that around a lot. And I was like, yeah, I do. And he's like, here, let's put that in. So I'm like sucking on this the whole time.
You had your Bubba keg.
My Bubba keg. So I was not without Diet Coke on that set.
So I want to know what the name of that video is where you were trying to emulate Lurch, so I can go back and watch it and see if I can pick up on it.
Well, he kind of changed it to, I was just like I had my hair slicked back, so I look just really kind of sketchy, and it was, I was a principal, and I was replacing, I was firing, or one of the teachers had quit, and we brought in Mr. Smiley was his name.
And, yes, that one.
And he was throwing chairs around and stuff, which made me just crack up. So I was breaking character all the time.
And I can talk to his mother about it. We appreciate all of your help.
But yeah, they made it so that I was more sad. So I wasn't like really like gloomy and dark. I was just like, so today, kids, we're gonna have a new teacher.
Oh,
his name is Mr. Smiley. So I don't watch all the videos. I only watch like half of what I've been in, and I'm bad about watching other people. So.
Aw. Well, I've seen them all, but no pressure keeping up with me.
Yes, but you are the Dhar OG actress, and do you get to have input on what's going on there, or do you watch to criticize or critique, I should say, or do you just watch for the fun of it?
Oh, I just watch for fun. I just want to see them all. I want to see what everyone's doing and see what the lessons are. And I think I got into a good habit of just making it a ritual when we sit down for supper each night to watch with the kids.
Okay.
So just kind of out of tradition. I'm certainly not watching to critique anyone. I don't know who I am to critique anyone else's work.
Well, I thought you've been there so long. I mean, they could have you critiquing like, yeah, that was really good. He did great at this and la la la.
I think the directors probably do that. The directors probably give notes on people. I don't know. I would guess that if they had a problem with somebody on set, they would probably pass it on. But it's probably pretty.
Yeah.
You know, I there's probably some sort of note system, because I have noticed on a couple occasions if somebody on set has been rude or obnoxious or just really causing issues, you don't see them again. They don't usually come back. So there was probably some sort of a system where they say, you know what, maybe not this person because they were causing a lot of issues, or, you know, I imagine there's got to be some sort of a system like that. So otherwise,
you got it.
With so many different people and so many divas and, you know, people that just are just out of hand, and it's probably a reason they keep bringing back people that they know, like, and trust, because you don't want drama on set. And this is, you know, one of the sets that I can pretty much say is drama free. I'm trying to even remember. It's been, I don't know. I don't ever see drama on the set.
I don't either. I did see someone just they were complaining a little bit about something. I don't even remember what it was, and I was like, it doesn't seem like something to complain about. That's all I remember.
Sean, what would you say has been your favorite role in a Dhar Mann film?
Well, actually, I was the dad in this thing where my high school son was a super geek, taking after his dad because his dad was a geek. So yeah, it was really, really fun. That was one that I just got tossed in, like, I had overnight to learn my lines and stuff. So they were very nice, like, with me trying to do my lines, but it was really fun. I learned a lot about Dungeons and Dragons.
A giant stomps towards you.
Okay,
Well, welcome to the club, guys.
Whoa!
We tend to get a little wild around here.
We sure do.
And but the kids were very supportive. They were like, oh, you got this. So I was like, all right. But it was a fun role, and it was actually my biggest role. So I just got to be super geeky, even more geeky than I just am in general. So it was really fun, really, really fun.
Sean, what is a role, if, like, a dream role, a role you've always wanted to play?
I always wanted to be Rooster in Annie.
Really?
Yeah. It was the first professional show that I saw. I was visiting, my mom and dad and I were visiting my sister in Salt Lake, and we all went to see it there. And then I saw it again in Denver when it came, and I just thought that role was fantastic. And my mom played the music all the time because she'd seen the play in California at some point. But it's just, you know, easy street. Yeah, I went to school for musical theater, so that's what I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you actually know how to sing and you like to sing?
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to be a song and dance man. And I always just thought, you know, if I could sing my way to Broadway, that would be terrific. But unfortunately, I came here where there was no theater. There was like 5 big houses at the time, and those aren't even around anymore, like San Gabriel Civic Light Opera and San Gabriel Civic Light Opera, and all those big places where I worked at all those places. And then I went to New York and fell into this sketch comedy group and did some regional theater around there until I fell into finance. And I was like, oh, wow, this is a paycheck. Who knew? It's money. Look at that.
Wow, that's something different for an actor to experience.
Yeah. Like, what is this? You're giving me money every other week? I kind of like this.
That's crazy. No, we're called starving artists, right?
That's right. I was never good at that. I always got a job, and so I neglected the art. So
yeah, trade-offs. There's payoffs. Sometimes you gotta go all in. Sometimes you're dabbling a little in each. And for those of you who don't know who Rooster is, his character's like, he's a real bad guy and kind of greasy slime ball kind of schemer guy. So
slimy.
So if there's a role like that, if anyone from the studio is watching, that would be a great role instead of Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Geeky Guy, Mr. Principal. Let's see if we can try Sean out a little, some character with a little edge.
That's right. I always, like, Dhar walked through the green room a couple weeks ago, and he saw me and he says, so are you playing a principal or are you playing a teacher today? And it's like, actually it's a doctor today, but thank you. so yeah, I always
little nice roles.
Yeah, that's right. And one came up the other day. There was an audition notice, and I could tell it was from Dhar. You know, they all look the same. And I sent an email. I was like, can I just have this role? And they're like, no, you have to audition. And I was like, I didn't have time to audition. And I was just like, because it would have been one of those, like, he was the mean guy and the snide, horrible person.
So if they don't, if they've never seen you do that kind of thing, you kind of got to show them that you can. And that's Peter, I don't know if you saw the interview I did last with Peter. Anyway, he was talking about how there's like a certain role he saw come up in the casting notices or wherever they put their breakdowns out. And he's like, I'm gonna audition for this, even though I've worked there, even though I've had speaking roles. They didn't call me for this, so they must not see me like this. So I'm gonna submit for it, and it worked, and he got the part. So don't let that make you lose hope. Just go for it, audition, because once they can see that your range is expanded, and I think that's probably why one of the reasons I've done so many is they were able to. Well, early on, it was before they had such a big catalog of actors. I remember Ruben talking about they had a hard time even getting actors. So I think there were times where they gave me chances to play outside of what I may appear to be, you know. So once they saw I could do super mean, I could also do nice, I could also do homeless, I could also do rich. I could also do golden. When they saw the different range, they're like, I think they felt more comfortable. So now that they have such a wide variety of people they can choose from at any time, sometimes it's just easier to go with, like, we know this person can deliver.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you've done everything. The first time I saw you, you were mean. I was like, wow, she's a horrible person. And those are the most fun, right? Hence Rooster, he's a con artist.
Yeah. Yes.
It's never as fun to be the, like, lead, good-looking, blah, 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 blah. Like, I was the devil in Damn Yankees. It was college, but I was a devil, and it was like,
so fun.
Well, the devil can be any age you want. Even though Ray Walston in the movie played it, people were like, you're playing the devil? Because I looked younger than everybody. Speaking of how old I look. Yeah, in college, I looked about 19 when I was 25. So... so that's always been a thing with dating. I always had to date somebody 10 years younger than me. So it's not a problem anymore, though. Because now I'm older than everybody.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Tell me,
decrepit. You just can't see my walker right now.
you're hiding it. You're hiding it well. You do a good job
Yeah.
on setting your walker in the car.
That's right.
So Sean, let me ask you, what is something interesting that the fans might want to know about you that they don't know?
Let me see. What should I say? Well, I'm a professional photographer. That's what I'm doing now, for the most part. That's one thing. We already said that I'm from Wyoming. I grew up very outdoorsy, hunted and fished, and I wanted to be a pro baseball player. That was my main goal growing up. Ever since I was old enough to play catch with my dad in the yard, like 5 years old, and I really, really, really wanted to play baseball. But it was Wyoming, and you have like 2 months to practice and play and stuff.
Weather.
And then I tried out for my college team, and the catcher, we were doing wind sprints, and the catcher ran faster than me. I was like, oh, this is going to be a problem. So
Okay.
I was really good, but not as good as a competitive team that was playing the likes of BYU and stuff. So
Okay. Sean, is there anything that you wish I would have asked you that I didn't?
yeah, why didn't you ask me why I'm so straight sexy?
Well, I didn't want to make my husband jealous when he watched the replay, so I was trying to keep it to myself.
Believe me, he sees the chemistry we have on set. He's gonna know. He's already gonna know.
Oh my gosh,
He's
you're
jealous.
right.
He's just quaking in his boots, I'm sure.
Tell me, is there?
How is he, by the way?
What's that?
How is he, by the way?
He's good. He's good. He's just feeding the kids supper so I can talk to you.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Teamwork! Is there any kind of philosophy you live your life by?
I've always been, it's funny that you say that, because I was always lucky enough to kind of just go with the flow as far as career or whatever, and I just follow the path that takes me, pretty much. Like after I left, well, I started temping. When I started in New York, I was temping. Well, when I first got to New York, I was working 60 hours a week in a souvenir shop to just pay my rent. But
Wow.
But then I started temping, and I was in places like Collegiate School, which is the oldest school in the United States. It's an all-boys school, and the likes of Errol Flynn Jr. and the Steinways and Johnny Kennedy. John F. Kennedy's son. What was his name? John Kennedy went there, and David Duchovny, and all these kids went to school there. Is amazing. So I was working in their archives, temping, and I just got all these opportunities temping. And then I fell into the finance, and they hired me like idiots. They hired me, and that's when I was like, oh, it's a good paycheck. So I just kind of go with whatever's happening, and like falling into Dhar Mann, I was like, I should audition for this, and now I love it. And when I left Morgan Stanley, I was like, well, what do I want to do? I didn't really want to go back to acting, because I just never felt that I was great at it. So, and I never really had that drive to do it. And so I was like, I've been taking pictures my whole life. Let's do that. So I started doing headshots and real estate photography that I love. And so that's just kind of the way I go. I just, opportunities, thank God, just come, they just pop up, and I just let it happen. And if it doesn't, I just stick around and kind of just look for things to, be prepared and just kind of go with it, just that's what I do. I've never been like, I have to be an actor. I have to be an actor. And I know that so many people are, and that was another thing that kind of came easy to me. And, in college and high school and stuff, I was like, this is pretty cool. I can do with this. And I went to school to be an accountant at first. And I was like, if I have to sit behind a desk my whole life, I will die. And so then I ended up at Morgan Stanley sitting behind a desk. But, pardon me. And so, yeah, I just was acting, and I changed my major to acting. And my mom said, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, you're the one that did this. You're the one that got me into theater and stuff." And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "And I don't want to be an accountant." And she's like, "Well, yeah, it's good to eat though." So, like, the talk that probably most actors get from their parents, like, "No, you're not going to be an actor. You're not going to be an actor." You're
Yeah.
going to be an actor.
And I don't know if like the general public knows how hard it is to be an actor and how hard it is to make steady income as an actor. It's like
That's right.
It's pretty rare.
That's right.
Sean, do you have any last thing you want to leave with the fans? Any last message you want to tell them?
Just let things happen, let things go, and don't be like me and get all up in your head and stuff. Just go with the flow. There's nothing is that important, just relax and let things happen.
That's great. Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today and have people get to know you better.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.